Like you turned up with this. All right, Hartwell crew, we are back with you. It is Ash.
And this is D.
And we are the Hartwells. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have a CC, which is...
Cards and Convo.
Yes, a little cards and combo. I'm going to kind of interview D. We've had quite a transition here to Texas. And we want to share a little bit with you guys about our experience, and particularly D kind of taking the lead. So I'm going to jump right into it. So what would you say, D, is expected of you or expected of men in general in society today?
I think the basics, the very basics of what I feel like is expected is to lead my family financially, spiritually, and even emotionally, to lead my family.
So, strong leader. What would you say you've encountered in that particular role? Like being the leader, being the provider, being this, all those things with a transition like ours. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Man, I'm finding that, pride is a big deal. Pride is a big deal when it comes to pride. I mean, the transition down here, we came down here and I didn't have a job or anything. We just moved out here on faith, man. On faith by itself, we moved out here. And so coming, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was getting a little generated email from everybody who was sending it that basically I didn't get the job. And so then a couple started coming through where I was in line for the job, but I wasn't hearing back from them quick enough.
Right.
And so me and myself, man, I wasn't praying and taking anything to God. I was kind of like leaning on my own understanding and trying to do stuff out of my own will, out of my own willpower, relying on thinking, okay, because I got education, because I got a master's degree, because I got experience, military and civilian, because I looked the part, I was relying on those things right there, and I never was taking anything before God. So time after time after time, I was getting the message of
rejection.
Rejection. That's exactly what it was. It was rejection. I was constantly getting that, and so with me, man, it made me feel some type of way. It made me feel like I wasn't. What's the word? Fit for it. I wasn't supposed to be doing that. It kind of made me doubt, And then the thing I had to do was, because in that I realized that I was being prideful because I wasn't taking it to God. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was being prideful because I wasn't taking it to God. And the moment that I did take it to God, it's crazy because I had put in for American Airlines. And I put in for about 20 positions. I don't really know. I put in all these different positions and, before I was taking it to God, and I kept on getting denied for those positions. But the moment that I took it to God, I prayed about it. That very next day, I got an interview. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I got a job in February. We got here in December. I started working in February, making pretty significant monies or whatever, and it seems like in society, if your wife is the breadwinner or making more, that can sometimes be a problem in relationships. Do you feel like that was a problem for you? Or I could tell there were different time points of stress for you where just not knowing where you were going to kind of land, how did you feel about?
Well, the thing for me is I didn't feel any way, I remember God telling me, saying you guys are a team, you guys are one. And so with us being one, what she's making, I'm making. What I'm making, she's making. So we were together. I got an interview at Home Depot. Now they requested me for an interview 3 times before that, and I turned all 3 of them down. And then the 4th time came up, and I said, okay, I'm gonna take it. So I went ahead and took it, and I went there, and man, I'm going through the process, and the guy comes out, and he's like, this is for the plumbing position, right? And I was like, yeah. Now, you boy, I don't know nothing about plumbing. I'm gonna tell you nothing. But I was like, hey, listen, we need some money coming in, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the position. So I took the position in plumbing.
Now I'm lit. I'm like, okay, you got an interview. You gotta, you're gonna go get this. It's gonna be great. He's kind of like, yeah, they offer you the position. I'm like, okay. Like, that's what's up. And he just never really was excited. We've been, recording and bringing you guys on our journey. He wouldn't let me record or talk to him about Home Depot. So I was like, what's going on? What's up?
Yeah, I would not allow pictures or nothing like that. I was like, nope, we don't need none of that, cause it's just a stop till I get to my next thing. But being there, man, it really humbled me. It really humbled me, man. I had to let all my pride down to realize that, you know what, God has me here for a reason. I can miss that reason if I'm prideful. In my heart, I humble myself. In my heart, I humble myself to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this job and I'm gonna do it with the spirit of excellence. And so I got into the position. I started doing it, man, and man, I got recognized like twice, like within like a month. I got recognized like twice for like doing different stuff, and so. But being in that, man, I would have never did that if I was went in there prideful, thinking that this job was
beneath you.
Was beneath me as well. Was beneath me. So.
Do you think that shame and pride play a role? Because it seems like you were ashamed to like share with people that you had this job. Do you feel like pride was at the root of that?
Definitely, man. Definitely. I was definitely ashamed to do it, man. And yeah, my pride was like, listen, this is beneath you, man. You don't be showing nobody this. And even when I got to the point where I humbled myself, that pride was still there. It was still there like, don't show everybody you doing this. You do it, but you don't show everybody you doing this.
Yeah.
And so, man, I was like, man, I came from this, and then I'm over here doing this, brother. God,
with the MBA, this man has his master's, so you felt
I felt some type of way, man, and so, yeah.
So do you think that when God is leading you and taking you into new places, that your expectation of what your position as a man, as a husband, as a father looks like that he can take you through a process where it doesn't look the way that you think it should look, but it's still him? Or do you think that it always looks a certain way? Do you think that God can take you on a ride with him, sometimes on a journey where it doesn't look like you think it should look?
Oh yeah, definitely. I know he can take you on a ride, and it looks nothing like you thought it was gonna look, man. Like, yeah, it could look nothing like you thought it was gonna look. Man, yes. My answer to that question is yes.
Okay. So what is some advice you can give to women who are in relationships with men who may be going through a career change, or their life is changing, the season is changing, and things just don't look the way that he's comfortable with them looking? And he's going through that stress. Like I feel like there was something I could say or do to encourage you sometimes. Like you just were like unencourageable. Like I was lit, but you weren't lit. Like what's something that you would say to a wife or to a girlfriend or a woman in?
Man, I would say, definitely pray for that guy. Pray for him. Be his ultimate cheerleader. At every point, be his cheerleader, man. As guys, man, we like for people to root us on. We like for people to root us on and cheer for us.
When I was encouraging you, you did like that. You just didn't necessarily show it.
Yeah.
So like the cheerleading, like I was like lit and stuff that you liked it, but it just didn't hit in that moment.
Definitely I liked it.
Okay, I didn't know that, y'all.
I liked it. That's one of the things that kept me going.
Okay.
That's something that kept me going, because otherwise I'd have been like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to wait. But that's one of the things that kept me on, man. Like I said, man, like in life we grew up, man, playing sports and all this type of stuff, and football, basketball, whatever it may be. We always had cheerleaders cheering us on, rooting for us. So all of our lives, man, we've been being rooted on. We've been being cheered for, and it's like when you get older, you still want that same room for, same cheer though, You have a hard game that you play, and with that hard game, you need something to push you through it.
Okay.
You need something to push you through that hard game. You play that rivalry game in sports.
Gotcha.
You already crunk up to do it, and then you go in there, you got those people cheering for you, it helps you on. But then sometimes you play that game that everybody's not up for. It's a team that no one that's terrible, and you need something to motivate you through the game. And when you hear people cheering for you, it kind of pushes you through that game.
So for us, we need to be praying and interceding for you guys. and just staying consistent and cheering you on and encouraging you, not necessarily trying to tell you how you should feel or think about it.
No, don't tell them how they supposed to think about it or how they supposed to feel. Because you can't tell somebody how to feel about something, how they should think about it. They have to get to that. They have to get to that deal on their own.
Okay.
I have to get through that process on my own. She can't walk me through that. I have to get to that point on my own. You know what I'm saying? That has to be my journey.
Gotcha. Even though we're on the journey with them and we're affected, I would say, even for my own self, watching him go through that, it was hard, especially not to know if me cheering him on was helpful or not. But I have, close friends that I would lean on for my own. I tried not to guilt him into responding a certain way, if that makes any sense. So pray for you guys, cheer you on, and then make sure we have a tight-knit of community that we can kind of lean on to, because we're all experiencing or being affected.
Yes.
Okay, and then what is your advice to men that may be encountering change, career, family dynamics, moving, starting over, role changes? Like, what you got to say to the men out there?
Man, I tell the men, it's a process. It's a process, man. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that's going to necessarily go fast. I mean, it could, but not necessarily it's going to go fast. So when you get in there, man, you first of all, you keep God first, man. You keep your priorities in order. You keep God first.
Okay.
You keep your wife second. You keep your children after that. And then you start putting everything else up under those deals. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do that, then if you don't get your priorities out of whack, you'll stay balanced.
So prioritize your relationship with God, prioritize your spouse, your wife, you prioritize your children after that, and then if you're focusing on school or job or whatever, that comes after.
You going down the line. You make your own list. I ain't gonna tell you how to put your stuff in order, but those three things definitely need to be.
Works.
Those things right there need to be your top three. Your top three need to be God, your wife, your children. That should be your trifecta right there. Then after that, you start putting everything else in there after that. Keep a balance to your life. After you do that right there, man, I would say figure out what you are going to do. You should already know what you're going to do before you get into that, but figure out what you're going to do, and then get in that lane, man, and just work it. Don't worry about if your wife or your significant other is making more than you're making at that time. Just get in there, man, and play your part. You know what I'm saying? Contribute to the household. Whether you're going to school, just waiting for the next thing to come up. But you got to actively be pursuing and pushing out there to do different things. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit back and be idle. You got to be constantly pushing into something, and making that thing your thing, So yeah, that's what I would say to the men, man. Keep your head up. Stay positive, man. You got to stay positive because, man, if you're not positive, man, you can think yourself into a depression. You can think yourself into an area that you don't need to be in. It's just not healthy.
Yeah.
It'll make you start to resent different things and resent different people.
Do you feel like it is easy to communicate with me when you're not in your best place?
For me, I'm one of those people. I internalize. I think a lot. I'm always thinking about different stuff that's going on. So I have a whole conversation in my head about something, and I done made the decision on it and everything within myself before I can even bring it out, And so I wouldn't say it's hard to talk to you. I would say I usually had the conversation with myself first.
I will say that it does affect us though. Like, not talking to us, we can still tell something's going on with you. So whether you are internal processor, I think you should be intentional to engage us. Well, I appreciate you, babe. I really appreciate you being honest and open and transparent about this. We just thought it was something that could help. It's one of those things where we all go through it. We all go through different transitions that God takes us through.
If you're being prideful, man, then next thing gonna happen is you're gonna fall. You're gonna fall. Your heart and your mind ain't in it, and you being prideful, you're gonna fall. So for me, like I said earlier, man, everything I had to take to God, man. I had to really be praying about it and seeking God's advice on it. and I just knowing what he wanted me to do and how he wanted me to stand.
All right, so we love you people. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please leave comments down below, questions, ideas for the next video. If these videos are blessing y'all, man, share it with us. We want to know for sure. And of course, there's an airplane flying overhead, so sorry for that distracting noise. But with no further ado, heart wellness.